Hi guys, my name is Bobby. Welcome back, and today I'm going to be doing round 2 of my Booktube Darlings TBR. So, I already did a Booktube Darlings TBR. It's currently the month of November, so I'll be reading the last one on that TBR, and then I will do a wrap-up, final thought kind of thing after the month is finished. But I have picked 6 more to carry us on, so that will get us through May of next year if I do one a month, and I'm going to share that TBR with you now. So first on my list is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. Like I just said, I am going to be reading A Dark Shade of Magic this month, but Vicious is also a Booktube darling and people absolutely fucking love it. So when I was scouring my shelves going, what should I pick? What should I pick? Like, you know, what is super popular? I was like, duh. The next one, which is the one I'm probably going to read in December, but it's not here yet, is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. Ninth House has blown up Booktube in the past month since it came out, and I really want to read it. While I'm not a super big fan of Leigh Bardugo's writing, I mean, I read Shadow and Bone, and the storyline was such, way too tropey, and I was like, nah, and it just didn't really interest me, so I just didn't continue. Her writing's not terrible, but this is her first adult book, and from what I understand, it's very dark and very, very adult. So I actually can't wait to get to it. It should be a really fun read. And I know it's big, it's like 800 pages, takes place at Yale, and it's about a girl who, they pay for her to go to Yale to kind of keep an eye on these secret societies who have the ability to use magic, because she can see ghosts, so she can kind of monitor what's going on, and it's supposed to be really good, but I've heard polarizing, reviews on it. Some people really, really love it and gave it 5 stars, and other people are like, oh, this was nothing like I expected, I didn't like it. I want to know what side of the fence I fall on, and since it came up as a Book of the Month pick for November, I picked it. My Book of the Month box is on its way, but I think I'm going to pick that one up in December because it's so hyped. I kind of want to get in on it while the hype is still going. Next on my list, which is kind of pushing it a little bit, but I've heard it talked about a lot, and it just depends, I guess, what channels you watch, and that's Red Rising by Pierce Brown. This is, the Red Rising trilogy. But it's Red Rising, Golden Sun, and then Morning Star is the first trilogy, and then I think he's got another trilogy that takes place after it. I know Pierre Ford is really into these, like obsessed with these. I kind of want to go into it blind because I've heard it's kind of slow to start. It's a sci-fi. I don't know if it's sci-fi fantasy, probably, but it's very much sci-fi where in this world, like, everybody's categorized as a color, like the reds are the bottom and the golds are the top. And Darrow, who's the main character, is a red, and he works in the mines, and they are led to believe that all their work they're doing is to progress their world so that everybody will be free and they can do that. And then he somehow gets out and realizes, no, they've been free for multiple years and they've just been lying to them to keep them as slaves, pretty much. And so he gets out and has to infiltrate the golds, and I guess it goes from there. I've heard mixed things. I've heard people who absolutely fucking love it and can't get enough of this series, and then people who also have said that it's really slow and hard to get into, and they just kind of struggled with it. I want to know where I fall. I'm starting to get more into sci-fi now, and I think this one has enough fantasy elements in it and not so hard sci-fi that I should be able to get into it. So I picked it up. It was really cheap on Amazon, so I'm excited to get into it. The next one is also kind of a push. Like, it's kind of treading the line of whether or not it's a Booktube darling or not, but I know it's some people's favorite books, like Maddie from the Book Pusher, and that's City of Brass by S.A. Sharkaborty. And all I know about this one is that it's a fantasy, takes place in Egypt, I think specifically Cairo, and it deals with jinn, or genies. Yeah, that's about all I know. Like, she's got some kind of power. Yeah, oh yeah, she accidentally summons a jinn, and oh yeah, she's some, like, palm reader or something like that, but she does it to scam people, but actually has a power, and then she gets sucked into this djinn world. From what I hear, it's really, really fucking good, and the sequel's really good, and the 3rd book's about to come out, so I decided why not, and added it to my list. Like, I've heard good things about it. Yeah, so I really hope this one turns out really good, because Maddie and I tend to agree on a lot of things, so I'm really hoping that I feel the same way she does. Next on my list, this one was really popular last year. I've had it since April of 2018 when it came out. I got it as a Book of the Month book. And I'm really ashamed I haven't read it yet because I loved the book that came before it, and that's Cersei by Madeline Miller. I've read The Song of Achilles and I really fucking loved it. So I have a feeling I'll probably like Cersei. Her writing style is just absolutely beautiful. But I've heard this one's a little slower, and it's very character driven. But if you don't know about Cersei, it tells the story of Cersei and like kind of retelling of her story. She was like a minor, I think not a goddess, was she a demigod or demigod like Hercules? I can't remember. It's been a while since I had done my Greek mythology class. But I've heard nothing but good things about this. Everything I've heard about this is positive, and a lot of people love it. Even people like Chelsea from Chelsea Darling Reigns, who doesn't read these kind of books, she even loved it. So it's going on the list. And my final book that'll take me through May, I've heard tons of people read this. I've seen tons of people read this. I have never seen a negative review on this ever. Every single person who has read this book has raved about how fucking amazing it is. And the only reason I haven't ever picked it up is because the subject matter is just something that I'm not really into. It's not a story I normally pick up. And I mean, not that there's nothing wrong with the storyline. It's just kind of like, ugh. I mean, you see those, like, I'm not big on hard-hitting contemporaries, but this one has had so much praise, and that the writing is just gorgeous. So it's like, okay, since everybody loves it, I guess I'll finally do it. Plus, I'm not a fan of hockey, and that's Beartown by Frederick Bachman. So everybody and their mother loves this book. Everyone. I haven't met one person who has said this book is terrible. It's got a very high rating on Goodreads. And all I know is that it takes place in Canada. I believe it's Canada, or maybe I don't even know if it's in Canada. I know the author is from, like, Iceland or Sweden, something. Not here. But it takes place in a town that is absolutely obsessed with hockey. The hockey kind of runs the town, and all the kids that are on the hockey team, all the boys, are like super popular, of course. But one of the star hockey players is accused of raping a girl, and this is the story of that and the aftermath and how it affects the entire town as well as the children in the town. And from what I understand, it's absolutely beautiful the way it's written, and the different perspectives, like getting it from people who are the perspective of what's happening, what's going on outside of the two main characters it affects, was really good. And how people take sides, and I don't know, I'm curious to read it. I hope it's good. I hope I like it as much as everybody else, because I do want to read it, and especially since there's no negative reviews. So Beartown will be definitely read sometime in the next 6 months. Okay guys, that's it. That is my Booktube Darlings TBR round 2. Please let me know in the comments down below which ones you want me to prioritize, like read first. Again, I will be reading Ninth House in December. I believe I might have to carry it into January depending on how well I'm doing at, how well my slump is, if I can get out of it, or how much I love it. We'll see how it goes. I should be able to finish it. It's really not that hard. But I definitely want to do Ninth House in December, and then after that, it's free reign for the next 5. So please let me know in the comments down below which ones you want me to prioritize, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.